Has a problem in my Lion Pride nation, army, people? Not getting better. As you see, three videos in, I'm still trying to figure out this whole intro thing, and as you can probably tell, it's not getting better. hopefully, after like maybe 10 videos gets better. I hope. So anyway, we're approaching. We're just three days short of 1 month away from possibly the most looked forward date of all the NASCAR season. That being, of course, the beginning of the NASCAR season, the Daytona 500, the quite possibly the most prestigious race in the season. Like you got the 500 in the championship race. Kind of it's almost like this anymore. Like it's almost harder to win the five. It's almost essentially harder to win the 500 than the title itself. I mean, again, it's like this. But there's been so many big names to win it, so many big names to miss it, so many big names to try it. It's just one of those races that comes once a year, and it happens at the beginning of the year. Of course, being the Kickstarter of the NASCAR season, sets a precedent of the whole season. Like this, which sets a precedent of what season may look like, may come, which past couple years of 500 has definitely set the message of what the following season would be like. But of course, much sooner, in just about 19 days, it was 19 days away, Mark Truex Jr.'s number, is the Busch Clash at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. This is the second time in a row they've been going to the Coliseum ever since they swapped it from Daytona, the traditional track, to the Coliseum. Which at first it was a controversial move, because I mean, why on earth would you move anywhere? Why on earth would you go to any other track that's not Daytona besides maybe Talladega? Like, that's like the track. Like, why move from there? But of course, the event was getting stale in a way. I mean, NASCAR wants to do something new, which of course, to me, if they're gonna change anything on the schedule to a more, I say gimmicky race, I'd rather it be a non-points paying race. No points on the line. It's all for show, all for money, fun. Like so long as the main schedule's not touched. The 500, the Southern 500, the Coke 600, and a few other tracks like Talladega and Bristol. So long as they're not affected in some way, like the good tracks, then why not? Why not try it? Which of course, however, the gimmicky side of things that's sort of taken a step further, as this has been reported by Jeff Gluck on Twitter that, well, first off, the Daytona 500 has been sold out. There's no seats available, including camping. With this being the eighth straight time that the 500 has been sold out, and that is incredible. Which, of course, with being sold out, is no big surprise, especially to a more casual, long-time NASCAR fan, because it's the 500. It's the biggest, like I said, the biggest race. Why miss it? Why even miss it? If you're a fan, if you're a fan, why miss it? The biggest race of them all. Besides, of course, maybe the championship finale, but based on very long track. but of course, like I said, the gimmicky side of the Coliseum has sort of taken another step forward to where it's been reported that NASCAR has decided to add podiums and medals, just like in the Olympics, where you get first, second, third. Uh, ugh. I mean, it's it's a fun idea. I get it. It's a fun idea and something new to add on to it, add on to the already, um, well, I would say gimmicky race, but to a gimmicky race. Don't get me wrong. It's something new, something fun, but it's like, is this just goes back to this just goes over to various other seasons of the past where NASCAR hasn't really taken itself seriously. Like there've been there were times where like Fox Sports has been like shoving, like when Jeff Gordon and Clint Boyer was in the booth together. They were just like force that old drama, the old rivalry back in 2012 down our throats. Like we get it, it was funny. It was funny the first like race or two, but they just kept trying to sell it over and over. It just got tiresome. It was entertaining. It was entertaining at first, but again, it just ran its course and just beating it down to death. And the other moments that kind of just shake your head as your fans, like, why even do this? Like, take yourself serious. I mean, of course, I'm not saying, the sport. I'm not saying the sport has to be serious all the time. Have fun with it. Have fun, but still remember that this is still a sport. Like this is still a sport that many people love and respect. But you treat it, but when you yourself as a seller of a product, if you yourself is not taking that product seriously, then who will? Sure, you get your lifelong fans now, but that soon dissolves when you keep taking yourself not so seriously. But all in all, again, like I said, this gimmicky stuff of the medals. Again, it's a non-point sparing race. It's a opener, a opener of an opener, a opener to an opener race. That means the 500, which to me has much more weight, more seriousness, a lot more seriousness to it, considering just how hard it is to win. I mean, sure some say, oh, it takes no skill to it takes no skill to win at a plate track. Well, in some cases, sure, so long as you have tires, a motor, and a car or a body, then you have a chance to win. But at the same time, you have to have luck. I mean, take Dale Earnhardt for example. He is looked upon as one of the greatest drivers who have ever lived. Right there along Richard Petty and Jimmie Johnson. Of course, the argument of who's the GOAT is always on debate. And honestly, I think the discussion of that discussion will always be debatable in a very long era. But anyway, back on the plate tracks, everyone should know that Dale Earnhardt was a master of the draft, like one of the few to learn of the side draft and use the draft to his advantage, and that reluctantly got him numerous upon numerous of wins on plate tracks. I believe 10 at Talladega, and a handful at Daytona. But however, despite his success on plate tracks and despite how good he was, his grasp on the 500 was just never there. Like, he would get close, but something will always happen. Whether it's a blown tire, engine failure, a bad pit stop, crash. Like if there's any way to lose a race, he was somehow fighting it. Which of course he eventually did win 500. I mean, those who know, they know, but those that don't, after like 20 years of trying, 20 years of frustration, he finally did it in 1998. At, of course, the grandest stage of them all. He finally did it, and, that was like a huge weight off his shoulders. But, but that's only his first win out of 20 tries in the 500. Sure, he won, like the July race of Daytona numerous times, and won Talladega, I believe 10 times, if I'm not mistaken, without going with information. He was still only able to do one win with 500, which you think for someone like him would win more of those, but surprisingly he only won once, despite how good he was on plate tracks, and it just come to show that even the best of best cannot win just one race, that being the Daytona 500, because, well, of course, obviously you got 39 other drivers to compete with, and on top of that you have, and on top of those 39 drivers you have, well, just the sheer chaos, the big one, as we all call it from Talladega, happens at Daytona 2. Like, if you get caught up in the big one, even with this next gen car, if you get involved in a crash, the big one, done. Sure the car today is much more durable and you can survive a lot longer than a car, say, in Earnhardt's time, but the car of this generation, the car of this era, with how many steps forward, there's steps back. I'll touch on that another time, but yeah, one of the greatest races of the season is coming up. As I said up at the middles, it's a gimmicky idea for a gimmicky race. Again, it's not points paying, have fun, why not? But of course, going back to the sellout of 500, that's great. That's really huge for a really huge racing event. Of course, participating in the 500, or, well, I would say attempt, but this driver, I would say attempt, but I'm pretty sure his resume automatically suits him just by being a past champion, and I think if you know who I'm talking about. But speaking of GOATs and 7-time champions, Jimmie Johnson will be participating in the 500 while not Hendrick Motorsports anymore, because their lineup is full, but with Petty GMS, or what is now called the Legacy Motor Club, which, not a bad name. Which, I mean, anytime I look at it, I'm thinking of Auto Club, the Fontana track. But yeah, that's very exciting. As you can probably tell, wrong side. I was once a huge Jimmie Johnson fan. I still am. Don't get me wrong. I'm still a huge Jimmie Johnson fan. And I'm very, very excited to see him on track, and I hope he gets, the 500 number 3 add his name to a very exclusive list of Hamlin, Petty, Cale Yarborough, those who've won it more, and 2 times. Of course, Jimmy being a 2-time winner of this race, along with Donut Jr., Matt Kenseth, which is, I mean, hell, just winning twice at this track is impressive. Let alone 3 or 4 like Yarborough, or 7 like Petty. Like, I was and still am a big fan of Jimmy since well, basically since I started watching NASCAR. Like back in 04 or 05, I was young, let's say the least, and I was just watching NASCAR with my dad, as I usually do, and I saw a little blue, silver, sometimes blue, black, yellow, 48 car, just, run. Of course, what drew me Jimmy was his car. My favorite color was blue, and of course the scheme he had at the time, I think it was blue, black, 48 car, and kind of like, yeah, I'm rooting for that guy. That guy looks cool. And of course he started winning, so I'm like, heck yeah, he won. I'm gonna stick with it. And sure enough, about too many years later, I've still been a fan of his until he retired. Now a Larson fan, but of course, despite me being a fan of Jimmy and Larson, on this channel, I try to be 100% unbiased, but also honest about what I talk about and stories I react to, and put my thoughts up. And with Jimmy coming back to the NASCAR Cup Series, I am excited. Kind of, in a way, of course, as a fan of Jimmy's, kind of, I want to say worried, because I'm thinking Petty GMS is a good team. It's not Hendrick, don't get me wrong, but it's like, to me, it's like, you have this, round one, for like, not like no vote required ticket to the Hall of Fame. Like, that is without a doubt Jimmie Johnson. If he's not the number one most deserved person to go to the Hall of Fame once he fully retires, then I don't know who is. But it's more or less about the legacy to me. It's like, 5-time champion. No one has done it. 06 to 2010. And then, of course, adding 2 more to make it 7. SE7EN. I mean, I guess to his credit, this was during Hendrick's downtime, like before he took a slump, and Jimmy was taking a slump for his last couple years on track. Which of course I'm not saying he's gonna just I don't want to say that he'll be a mid packer, because that is not Jimmie Johnson whatsoever, and honestly I don't think he's gonna be. But I just hope he doesn't. I just hope that's not like the last page of the Jimmie Johnson legacy. Big giant coming in, the mighty fallen type story, like DW, who else? I can't think off the top of my head, but I guess DW would be a best example, because I can't think of anyone else. But DW having a great career, won championships, 500, of course, nothing to the extent of Jimmie Johnson, but going from high on the mountain to essentially trying to stay relevant, and just having one of those things where it was probably best he retired sooner. And I'm not saying this is Jimmy, don't get me wrong, this is not Jimmy, but I just don't want that to happen. I have full confidence that Petty GMS, now Legacy Motor Club, will the new leadership of Jimmie Johnson, along with GMS owners and Petty sort of being the face at this point, but with that knowledge and power, I'm sure they can get things figured out. Which, of course, don't get me wrong, Eric Jones on his own in the 43. He did great these past couple years. I mean, he done phenomenal. Honestly, a phenomenal a phenomenal year last year. Of course, it's not Final Four, Final Eight kind of performance, but I mean these considering the past decade for the 43 car with Eric Almirola, Bubba Wallace, now Eric Jones. Eric Jones has so far been the more successful in the 43 since technically since like John Andretti, rest in peace him, but because he had never win. He has 13 top 10s, which is great. 3 top 5. I mean, again, this is not championship worthy stats, but this is a stat. These are stats showing that they're going in the right direction versus the wrong direction. Years past, which I mean, traditionally petty motorsports, petty GMS, then petty GMS has never really been the most top team traditionally since Richard Petty retired, but considering the stats I've shown, they're not bad. They're I mean, could they be better? Sure, definitely, without doubt. But considering the past decade of the 43, they're going in the right direction, and I can only know that with Jimmie Johnson's leadership is going to hopefully get better. Which I don't think they'll have. Which I think they'll still have Hendrick motors, Hendrick engines. And so with the chassis the same, why can't they? But why can't they perform? With them having the tools, Hendrick engines, which I'm sure are not brand new motors, but also chassis the same. Chevrolets working together as last I heard. So it's like even with them being a B tier Chevy team, I don't see a reason why they can't win races. I don't see a reason why they can't go out and perform like Larson or hell Tyler Reddick last year, who practically put RCR back in a good direction, which short-lived, which I'll get to that later. With Jimmie coming back to this Cup Series, he'll be racing in the 84 car. But also came to light that not only will he be driving the 84 car, sponsored by Carvana, he has interest in the 24, not the car number, but Le Mans 24 hours. Yeah, it's been recently reported that despite Jimmie's NASCAR schedule getting more busy again, he has interest in driving NASCAR's Garage 56 entry this season in the Le Mans 24 hour, which honestly, as surprising that is to some, knowing Jimmie Johnson, I'm surprised they hadn't done it sooner. Like, the man's doing the man's doing just anything you can do in the motorsport scene besides maybe motocross or monster trucks, of course. But yeah, dude's touching all over the motorsport scenes. First of course being the dirt bikes when he was 6, dirt trucks, and then finally make it to NASCAR, and then after NASCAR being Indy, and I think like the last one besides well, not yet Le Mans, but soon Le Mans, but the last one being Formula One, which I can see Jimmy doing that no problem. It's just a matter of finding a team, and you know, which I can assume all the teams are in Europe somewhere. Which again, I don't really follow Formula One, but I can assume they have a American team. Which I'm sure they'll have no problems signing on Jimmy if he's interested. But it wouldn't surprise me if he tried. Yeah, that pretty much touches everything I want to talk about in this video. You know, the Clash, the Daytona 500. Hopefully, by the time the 500 comes around, I should be live streaming on Twitch. If you guys want to, here's somewhere on screen. I'll put it on screen that of my Twitch name, URL, twitch.tv/AlliedBanatic. Same name as here. Shouldn't be too hard to find. Of course, right now I have nothing posted, nothing decorated besides my profile picture, but that's gonna change. Like I said, hopefully by this weekend I should start live streaming. And what I plan on doing when the Clash comes around, I want to live stream after each race. Like after the Clash, live stream. 500, live stream, so I can hopefully talk with you guys about the race, what happened, the good, the bad, the ugly. You know, maybe interact with you guys if you're interested. You know, talk NASCAR, talk about the race, talk about the future. I say future, but more or less just the 500, and then I think it's Vegas, the race after. I may look into that, but yeah, that's my plan. That's my idea. But yeah, that should all be it for the video, guys. I hope. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, click that bell. All the stuff they say down below. And hope you guys have a nice night, morning, afternoon. I still haven't figured out how to do outro either. So, yeah. Bye-bye.